Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Game of Thrones. And it got good tonight. It got good last weekend too. This one though, let's stay focused though. Let's start from beginning to end. I'm probably going to jumble this a little bit, especially right towards the beginning because I was kind of in and out. But anyways, so the beginning kind of starts. We see Cersei and the banker from Braavos, and they're discussing how it's the largest debt that's ever been paid off, and, Cersei's cocky, and so the banker Braavos is like, well, we'll back you. Yeah, okay, that was a little bit of a filler to make this episode go as long as they needed it to go, but then we get into Arya, and she's returning to Winterfell, and she's got those schmuck guards that just are like, you're not Arya, Arya's dead. Well, how do you know? Go ask. That's not even a question, you've got Sansa and Bran in the city, in the Winterfell. You don't just turn somebody away claiming to be Arya. You at least vet it out, because you've only heard that Arya's dead. There's no proof, there's no body. Don't be a moron. And that's why you need better guards in Winterfell, apparently, because you got Tweedledee and Tweedledum running the front door. So they bring her in, they make her sit down, and then they argue over who's going to go disturb Lady Sansa. And she basically sneaks away, so they bring the report to her, and she's like, got it, I know where she's at. Go, they meet, they hug, and, Arya makes the comment about how she's going to kill all these people, and, they talk about how Joffrey died, and that Sansa wasn't the one to do it. And then Arya's biggest thing is that the statue of her dad doesn't necessarily look like him, that it should have been done by somebody that knew his face more. But as Sansa reminds her, there's nobody left alive that would have known his face. So then they go and see Bronn, and Bronn hands her the dagger that's made of Valyrian steel, because he gives it to Arya because there's really no sense in him having it, which he makes a good point. Plus he's going to be pretty much tied into the tree the whole time. But who knows? You never know when you're defenseless, when a good little dagger that cuts almost through anything would come in handy. But whatever, neither here nor there. He knows what Arya is up to, so he wants her to have the best weapons, and he knows she's committed to it. The question I have, though, is does he know that Littlefinger is the one that started this whole thing? I don't know. We'll see. Maybe he's trying to figure out how to make it work. So then we get into Arya meeting Brienne for the second time. First time since she defeated the Hound, and she, we see Brienne right before that happens. She's kicking Podrick's butt and trying to teach him how to fight. Arya's like, I want to train with you, and we kind of see a little bit of what Arya's got, in her bag of combat abilities, and we see that Brienne's, she kind of kicks Brienne's butt because Brienne almost underestimates her, but then before the fight's over, Brienne kind of gets a little more understanding of how good Arya actually is. Then we bounce over to Dragonstone, where Daenerys and Jon are there, and of course she's given him permission to mine the dragon glass that's there, so he takes her into the cave and shows her the dragon glass. He shows her where the Children of the Forest and the First Men first met, and now there were cave paintings on the wall, and then there's a cave painting of the undead from the north, and he's basically like, they fought, they dropped their differences to fight, so should we, and she's like, basically, you'll have my armies, you'll have me, you'll have my dragons, if you bend the knee. She's completely stuck on this bending the knee thing, and I understand why. She's trying to make sure she has the loyalty from everybody before she really tries to take on Cersei. And that's when she gets word from, in regards to the Castle of Rock, and from Tyrion, and she kind of snaps at Tyrion, and then she asks Jon his advice, and his advice is basically, you don't want to go for the Red Keep because there are people in there. So, you don't want to kill a bunch of people that are going to fear you because of your dragons. It's pretty much what her dad did. The Mad King, he used the dragons. He would melt people just for the heck of it, or because he thought they betrayed him without getting all the evidence. And as she flies in there and tries to burn down the Red Keep, she's going to kill a lot of innocent people. And in the same turn, she's going to make the people fear her for the wrong reason instead of respect her as the queen. So that was an interesting little exchange between them. I'm not sure if she's still going to make him bend the knee, but we'll see. Then we do get a little bit of Jon taking the advice of Tyrion when he talks to Missandei and basically asks her why she's there, how she got there. You know, if she wanted to leave tomorrow, would the Khaleesi allow it? And she's like, yeah, you know, we don't follow her because we fear her or because she was born to somebody. We follow her because we respect her. And, you know, Davos gives that little snarky comment. He's like, you'll forgive me if I swap sides, because you don't want people to follow you in a situation like this just because they fear you. It's not going to get you anywhere. But if they follow you because they respect you, they're less likely to run when everything hits the fan. You know, they're there because of a moral belief that you're the right person. So that was interesting to see and for Jon to learn. I don't know if it's going to make him bend the knee yet, though. Again, we'll see. I know he's still got to mine the dragon glass and get that up north. So we'll see if he bends the knee before he goes back up north. And then we see Theon come on to shore with his other uncle, and I can't remember his name now. And Jon's there. And you're like, oh, Jon's going to kill Theon. But Jon's basically like, if you hadn't saved Sansa, if you hadn't helped get her out of there, this would be different. I'd be killing you right now instead of, you know, just chokeholding you. So I don't know. Theon's character is kind of like Littlefinger's character. It's like, it's time for them to go. It's time for them to die. Their characters are pointless, but maybe there's something bigger in the end that we're going to see. I don't know. Either one of those characters. I honestly think Littlefinger's going to betray the group again before it's all said and done, but that's just me. I think he's up to something still. And not just trying to get up Sansa's skirt, which is that's just creepy too. So then basically Theon's like, well, I've come to talk to the queen to see if she'll help me get my sister back. And Jon's like, well, the queen's gone. And then we go into this big open field, and you've got Jaime and the Tully and Bronn the sellsword. And, you know, they're having a discussion about, you know, how Bronn thinks he should get a bigger castle, and how about the Tully castle? And Jaime's like, that's a bad idea, because the more you have, the more you owe on. And he's right. Even if you're to take over the Tully castle where the gold mines are, not the Tully castle, the Tyrell castle. Even if you were to take over the Tyrell castle where the gold mines and stuff are, they're, you know, the queen's probably going to keep a tap on those gold mines going forward. So even if you're there owning it, you're probably out of luck anyways. So that's when you kind of get the feeling that you know where the queen's headed and you know what's about to happen. And so the head of the Tully house comes to talk to Jaime about how they need to reinforce the front of the line, and this is the back of the line. And, you know, he's requesting permission to flog the stragglers, and Jaime's like, no, let's give them fair warning first. So then we meet Tully's oldest boy. He's younger than Sam. He's Tully's youngest son. He's Sam's brother, and, you know, we find out that's his first battle. And then Bronn hears something off in the distance, and they ready the shields and the spears and stuff, and they form the lines. And that's when you hear the thunder coming, and thunder's is horse hooves coming up the hill, so you know what it is. It's the Dothraki. And they come charging over the hill, and they're barreling towards Jaime and his group. And then you're like, all right, come on, where's the dragon? Where's it at? Is it going to pop up from behind, swoop out of the clouds? Nope, she comes right up over the hill with him, straight over the head of the Dothraki. She just mows right through the line of guys, you know, and then she swings around. And so they crash into the Dothraki crash into the shield wall, and the battle ensues, and they're killing people, and Jaime's side's trying to do their best to hold steady, and it's back and forth, and you see the dragon come in, and he takes out another row of stuff. Looks like their main target was just to get rid of the supplies out of the supply line. It may not have been the best decision. They could have used those supplies themselves, but, you know, whatever. I get what she's trying to do. If push comes to shove and they have to retreat, she's taking out a good portion of their supplies. Again, they could have used them. However, also, somebody needs to teach her how to fly a freaking dragon, because instead of shooting, you've got a line like this. Stop trying to burn the line like this. Burn the line like this. One good swoop in the beginning, and she could have taken out a good portion of that line, and there was less for her Dothrakis to have to battle. But, you know, they're Dothrakis. They're bloodlust. They got to get some killing in, so we'll give them a little bit of playtime. Jaime tells Bronn to go and set up the Scorpion, because he's only got one hand and he can't load it. So we see Bronn take off, and he almost gets killed by one of the Dothraki riders, and that was a brutal scene to see that horse get his leg whacked off. But eventually, you know, he dodges the Dothraki, and he eventually makes it to the Scorpion, and the Dothraki opens the curtain, and you see Bronn sitting on the Scorpion, and he shoots the Dothraki guy in the chest with a giant Scorpion. And then, like, this whole contraption folds apart, and the roof comes off, and, you know, he starts reloading it and getting it ready to take on Daenerys and her dragon, and he fires once and misses, and that's when basically Daenerys knows where it's at, and she's like, head on, gonna take it head on, and she swoops straight in. The dragon does take a hit, but it's in the shoulder, and he's able to, you know, recoup and land, and he just basically tears the Scorpion apart with some fire. And so, you know, then we see Daenerys hop off, and she's gonna pull the spike out of the dragon, and Jaime sees Daenerys in the distance, and he knows who it is, so he decides he's gonna take care of it. Meanwhile, you got Tyrion on the hill, and he's watching the whole battle, and the Dothraki leader's like, oh, your people can't fight, and Tyrion realizes what just a complete brutal massacre it is. And, you know, and then he sees Daenerys, and he sees Jaime, and he's like, don't do it. And of course Jaime takes off, and he starts barreling towards her, and he grabs a lance on the way. He's gonna take out the Dragon Queen, because he's a moron is what he is, because he noticed, but there's a dragon over there, and it's not like that dragon's not gonna notice her. It's not a horse. It's got all kinds of senses. Whatever. Maybe he hopes he'll get lucky. He'll kill her, and the dragon can kill him, and at least she's dead, because, you know, I guess then there's nobody to control the dragons, technically. We'll see. Anyway, so about that time, you see the dragon's head come down before he gets within... Or you see Daenerys turn, and she sees him, and she faces him, and she's like, alright, bring it on, you know, gives him that look, and he's barreling down, and of course the dragon's head swoops in, and you see the dragon open his mouth, and you're like, oh, Jaime's gonna die here, and then Bronn dives from his horse into Jaime, and they barrel into the water that's there. It looks like a little small pond of some kind, and, you know, they're sinking to the bottom. Of course, Jaime's weighed down with armor and swords and the gold hand, so boom, episode ends, and, you know, you're like, oh, okay, well, what's going to happen? Well, of course, she's going to save Jaime. Now she's got a prisoner of war. She may even save Bronn. And of course, I'm sure enough gold, Bronn will swap sides, or we'll see what goes on with him. He's a sellsword, it's his thing. Money, he doesn't care. That's who he fights for, who he thinks is going to win. And of course, seeing a dragon like this, and seeing the Scorpion not really hurt that dragon all that much, which of course it was kind of not a very good hit. He may be willing to swap sides for the right amount of gold, or just because he doesn't want to get eaten by a dragon. Who knows? We'll see what happens as the season progresses. But it was a good episode. That last battle scene, I have a feeling every episode going forward at the end is going to have some big battle scene, whether it's Euron and his boats, or her dragon and her Dothraki, or the Unsullied. I have a feeling there's going to be a big battle at the end of every episode going forward. We haven't seen any more from the Hound and Lord, I believe his name is Beric, the Lightning, I think they call him the Lightning Lord in the books, I can't remember. Anyways, he's the one that was brought back to life by the Fire Priest, or the Fire God. So we haven't seen anything from them, so we might see something from them in the next episode. But, you know, as of this episode, aside from Jon, all the living Starks are back together. Technically, because Jon's not a Stark, all the living Starks are back together. We've actually seen some real action from Daenerys and her dragons and the Dothraki. This was just a good episode. That last battle scene was pretty awesome. It was a pure slaughterhouse as far as it goes, but it was a good good battle. It was awesome to see the dragon get in there and do some butt kicking. I think maybe this will help Daenerys kind of clear her head, because I think she's got a little bit of that bloodlust because she's been around the Dothraki so much. On top of the fact that, I mean, she's a Targaryen, you know, so I feel like they've got a little bit of bloodlust, especially with the dragons there, and she kind of feeds off the dragons. So I think maybe this will help her get her head on straight, and she'll be able to go forward, figuring some other things out. Now that the bloodlust is a little sated, she's done a little bit of butt kicking. The Dothraki have done some butt kicking. They seem like they're in a prime spot to move about Westeros and kick any more butt that they need to. But I don't know. It was good. God, it was a good episode. I'm trying to make sure I didn't miss anything. I think I got everything, all the important stuff at least. You know, Arya and Sansa and Bran are back together, and you know, Jon's getting the dragon glass to go fight the undead. Oh, it's such a good episode. Anyways, let me know in the comments what you thought of the episode. You know, was this your favorite battle so far? It's definitely my favorite battle so far, and it's not even a big battle. Let me know what you think is going to happen in the next episode or the rest of the season or next season. Where do you think this is going? What are your theories? What are your thoughts and hopes and dreams for Westeros, ladies and gentlemen? Till next Sunday.